Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I'm your host, Marley Major, and I have a fabulous design friend, longtime like partner in crime with events. I don't know what we could say. We're gonna dish
Um,
some juicy stories today. Her name is Camille Esposito, and we are going to talk all about what makes an amazing event, what it's like planning an event for yourself, and I think most importantly, some epic party fails that were almost epic party fails that we avoided, but kind of what's behind the scenes of doing big events. So Camille, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to be here. Crazy to
And
be here, but nice to be here.
well, I was going to say she doesn't mean that at all because she is like, I'm only here because you made me do it, which is true. And she's like, I don't have anything to promote, like, of course, I mean, but you never know, Camille. So we will
You
tell
never
at the
know.
end how to get a hold of her because some people might be very inspired and just want to chat and be inspired because who knows what we're going to talk about on this exciting journey. But fill me in. How long ago did we start working together? I mean, it was
More than 20 years ago,
more
because
than
my
20
oldest is 21. So Jasper, who baby came to events, is
That's right.
21, going on 22. So,
In the
um,
sling, like you were the ultimate
yes,
bring the baby
yes.
in the
In
sling,
the in the flower market, in the
right,
ergo backpack.
in the farm
But
market.
before that, I don't know, like 3 years before that. So I would say like 24 years at
God,
least,
that is
maybe going on
great.
25 years, which
And
at this point in life doesn't feel like you could actually say that. Like when you say things like that, like, oh, it's been 30 years. Like, what? How is anyone old enough that it's been 30 years, you know?
right, it seems like we should all have walkers, but
Exactly.
right? Yeah, I get it, but that's kind of the truth now. When I think
Yeah.
about like, oh, my college reunion would be like my 60th. I mean, not really, but it feels like that.
No, we're not yours.
I mean, it really does. I mean, and then if anybody doubts them, they're like, "Oh, you look pretty good for 90." And I'm like, "You can just, you know, thank Botox or whoever the
I know, I
manufacturers
was
of
gonna
that are."
say, like, yeah, exactly. Here I am aging naturally, you not so
Oh, there's
much.
not a
But
natural damn
that's
thing. Not a natural thing about this aging process, by the way. I mean, my
I
skin
know,
is
I know.
bleached and stripped and tightened and
I'm
lasered
surprised you can
off.
move your eyebrows, kind
Oh,
of
I
move your
can I
eyebrows.
mean, this for
Oh, you
me
can do
is
it. You can do it. There you go. That's
yeah,
good.
so everybody go watch it on YouTube so you can see my expressions. Yeah, not a
Yes,
damn graceful aging thing about it. But, oh well, it is what it is. That's
it's
what
okay.
makes an exciting podcast because we get different perspectives, right, Miss Camille?
I know, I know, I know. Yes, I'm always going to be the hippie girl, and you're going to be the opposite. But
Yeah.
but yes, I mean, the way that we met is the best story in and of itself, right?
Okay, well, tell
Your
the
assistant
story.
just
Tell the story. That's what we're here for is the story because I think the story is important because then they're going to get a feeling for like how in the trenches we were. So then when we talk about like what to do for your event or what not to do or
that's
what
true.
really makes an event. I mean, we do know what we're talking about. So start with that.
I moved to LA to do film, and then I ended up doing events just because film was complicated and long hours and crazy. And a friend of mine was doing events. She's like, "You would never want to do this." I'm like, "No, I would." And then I'm in Culver City cutting out signs out of foam core, and I learned how to make foam core look like wood and metal, and for
Which
Bob
is I'm
Gale events,
still so
bar and
envious of. Yeah,
oh my
you
God,
really
bar
are
and
good at
bat
that.
mitzvahs up the wazoo, in the 90s in, LA, West Hollywood. And then Eventworks, which was like
Oh, right.
literally make 500 centerpieces, not by myself, but like
Right.
team of 10 people
Yeah.
back of the scuzziest warehouse in the depths of downtown Los Angeles. Like literally like mangy dogs walking by, like, are we in a
Oh,
third world country? No, no, we're
oh,
just in downtown LA.
just
And they're
LA.
like, now here's your recipe. This is how many flowers you get, and you make it all look the same. And if it looks different, you redo it, right? So,
Yeah.
but what a great gauntlet to run. Like, okay, I can make a centerpiece look amazing. I mean, not amazing, but not how
No,
I would
you
do it.
can. Everybody, she
But
can.
to do to learn how to really do it, including when the sales rep sells yellow calla lilies and then they can't get any. And guess what? There is spray paint to make flowers a different color. Things I didn't know before I moved to LA, right?
That alone, well, exactly, and that was 20 something years ago when there was spray
That was
paint to make,
many.
flowers yellow, because
Yes.
what people don't realize about I didn't realize even to this extent is that when you sign a contract with a client, and a lot of times they sign off on the design or the elements of the
Yes.
design, and so if it says, you're gonna have X amount of yellow calla lilies and X amount of whatever in this design, or if they're signing off on the sketch, if you don't have a contract that says, due to availability, blah, 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 you're able to substitute that, you're in breach of contract. So it's
Well,
no
and you're
fooling around.
signing contracts months in advance, right? So who knows what you
Absolutely.
can get. You can't get 2,000 calla lilies today, so we will be spray painting them.
Right. So they will
But
be
it was, yeah, sorry.
no,
It was
I just
so
which
good
is
to learn that.
the part I was gonna jump off of is the letter of the law, of course, would say that, okay, we can spray paint your calla lilies and they might be yellow. They'll be spray painted. However, or you get a beautiful natural calla lilies that are white that we could substitute. But because we have a contract signed that says they're going to have yellow, nobody says how they got to that yellow place.
Nobody talks about it. And nobody really notices when you walk into a ballroom with 500 of the same thing
Right.
with lighting.
Unless the spray paint is dripping off,
But that is true. So that you
because
have
you're
to get
not,
very good at that.
yeah, if you're not Camille Esposito and you spray paint the leaves along with the callas,
Yeah.
then
Marley's not spray painting the
right. No,
calla lilies.
I have no
Oh.
business. I would be covered in spray paint and the lilies would not. Let's just put it that way,
Yeah.
along with, yeah, on my tracks on the way to the kitchen, etc. But,
Yes.
joking aside, those things that you learned and then taught me have been huge. I mean, you really
Well, I
did.
was so lucky that I learned all that, even though it was kind of torturous in the process.
Right.
And then I worked at Art Center, which who knew it was right up the street from your house for
Literally.
years. Put my
Yep.
ex-husband through school. I mean, was creative in different ways, took classes, but got out of that and thought I was going to go back to school, applied to
Right.
school, left Art Center, and a friend of mine was working with you to do holiday gifts for your dad's office and
Right.
was like, come help just for like
For
whatever,
like a
15
minute.
bucks an hour for 2 days and help deliver these baskets, right? So I go up to your house. I think Nicholas was with me that day, maybe because he had just graduated school. So we were doing these crazy holiday things to like make money, decorating Christmas trees. And again, in a warehouse in downtown LA, like wrapping lights on every branch so they could ship these Christmas trees out to department stores. So all this weird work. But I show up at your house and I think I was supposed to start delivering, but your assistant was pissed about something and stormed out. And somehow I just kept
Right.
sitting in the office because I had just worked in an office for 3 years. And my friend
Right.
who had gotten me the job, she was going out. And later she got kind of mad because she felt like I like stepped in when I shouldn't have. But I
Oh,
was the
she
perfect
did? I
person to
didn't know
be.
that.
Yeah, but I like knew how to use Excel and nobody else knew how to use Excel. So I'm like helping with the spreadsheet and your assistant doesn't come back and you're talking to your friend about it. And then halfway through the day, you're like, who are you?
Yeah. Okay, well, pause. A couple quick things here. I did know how to use Excel just so that it
Oh, no,
isn't like
you
the
did. But I mean, nobody
no, I
else
know
on the
what you meant.
team of delivery people.
I know
So,
I 100% know what you meant, and I'm just sort of poking fun, but I mean, this is a train wreck, but I mean, it's still a somewhat educated train wreck over here. So, yeah, well,
you are
and
very educated.
but it was, I mean, to me, it was magic. Those are some of the funnest times I had at work, literally, and certainly the most creative was working with you and
Mm,
working with our friend Catherine, right?
hmm.
Because Catherine
Yes.
also was the foam core cutting queen. I mean,
Oh, yes. Yes. My
right?
friend Nikki, we like recruited her. Well, I started to pull in friends from events and film to help us. But the greatest, yeah, it was complete magic because you were in this transition from like being a caterer to
Right.
wanting to do events. I had
Right.
been in the trenches learning how to do events, but with no creative license, like zero. It was so
All
disheartening to be
right.
like, make the 500 centerpiece, you know?
And I was like,
And
why would you make the 500 centerpieces the same?
yeah,
Yeah, like it was
and
a
the
big
best
departure.
was that, yeah, that you were like just starting and also that you didn't do weddings. This is my favorite thing, that it was because of your birthday party, which will lead into our other hilarious story,
Mm-hmm.
that you started to get bigger events. Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
it was because of your wedding. But oddly, your wedding did not look like, was it your, it was your wedding. It was your dual two sides wedding that kind of started to get you more big jobs. But somehow, because it didn't look like it, you ended up with like 40th birthdays. It was like there was the perfect moment in time where we were not doing like very traditional things,
Yes,
no bar
no.
mitzvah, bat mitzvahs, weddings. Like we were doing like the 40th birthday in Palm Springs, or you know, like these great, or I don't know, decorating your friend's daughter's bedroom like a groovy girl bedroom, but for
Oh,
real. Like these
right.
crazy jobs that you could never imagine.
Right,
And the
that people
greatest thing
get
is
paid
that
for. I forgot about that
I
one.
know, I know.
That
And we
was
got to have like so much creative license. And you were so kind to me that you're like, oh, yeah, you're really good at this. Let's just do whatever we want to do.
and by the way,
Except
30 years later, it hasn't changed, or however many years we disagree on it being nothing has changed. It's like, no, I am not doing that. Or, yeah, okay, let's just do what we
Yes,
want.
I know. Except that you have to have some feathers or some leopard print or
100%.
some sparkle. You know, this cannot be boring. There
Okay,
will be
well,
no boringness
you
happening.
will, speaking of that, so my oldest son, Cullen, whom you know, of course,
Yeah.
just got married last weekend. And I want you to know that as soon as it was time to be like, okay, like, what am I supposed to wear? That kind of thing, like, how dressy is it, etc. My son said, Mom, you have to keep it toned down.
Yeah.
No feathers, no glitter,
I
no
said, yeah.
bright colors. And I
Yeah.
literally was like, okay, well,
You're like,
that's the
do you
best
know me?
license. That's what he
Yeah.
said. That's and I guess he did because he was very specific. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
that's the best license to shop ever. Because I said, I don't even have one thing. He was like, and he was trying to very much, really, really emphasize that that was crucial, but not be rude, but underscore it about 4 times. And so I ended up
Oh
with a
my gosh.
very, I think, appropriate
Oh,
dress, somewhat
okay.
dramatic, but,
Okay.
deep wine color. And,
Nice.
it was, as I say, it was good. But yeah, so nothing has changed. In other words, I mean, to me, I think a thing at that time was my goal was to have a helicopter so I could save time. And I wanted every time it take off, feathers would and bubbles would come out of the helicopter to sort of just fly off with joy. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's okay. And so let's talk about that for a second because a lot of people don't really get that when you're in a creative industry, we sort of hear about it, I think, with like, quote, traditional artists, right? Where they have a benefactor or something, or they have to sell paintings or get into a gallery show, right? So they have to sort of do what the market wants
Mhm.
them to do. And then events, the same thing. You think, oh, it's so creative and it's so, and which, it definitely can be, but you're right. You touched on a great point. I mean, you still are bound to, you can think this is going to be the best centerpiece ever. And if the client says, no, I don't like it, I don't like yellow, or I'm allergic to this, or I want it to be really tall, and you're like, you don't want to do that because you're going to block people's, visual line of sight. You just gotta do the 500 exactly how somebody tells you to do them.
Well, in my experience with you, that wasn't the case for what
Well,
for who
right,
you were
obviously,
selling.
that's why we're all
So
here
that
because 'cause
was
we're
the yeah.
fabulous, but that's, like, what people don't realize is for the rest of the world, it's like, here is the balloon arch. It needs
Yes.
to
Oh
contain X
my
number of
God. I
balloons,
know. I
and
know.
they are priced out at this and this, and you can't divert from the recipe, right? Because your costs
Yeah.
and God forbid something is out of season.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta do what Pinterest has told that client to
Yes.
tell you to do.
Well, we were lucky that we weren't dealing with quite as much Pinterest, at the
Right.
time.
Right.
Maybe some
Right.
magazines that don't exist anymore. But
Right.
But you had an amazing, I mean, I am so grateful that I met you when I did because you were at such a pivotal part of in your life
Huge.
where you were like, I'm not gonna do not just, I mean, you'd done restaurant, you'd done catering, you'd
Hmm.
kind of been grinding, and somehow you were meeting some really cool people who also, because it was birthday parties, because it was like midlife birthday parties,
Yeah.
it wasn't the same thing. Like people try to ask me, like, "Oh, did you do a lot of weddings?" I'm like, "I've done weddings, but oh my God, there is not a more stressful thing you could
Oh,
possibly be part of because there's too
totally.
many cooks in the kitchen." But if it's a
Totally.
birthday party, it is pretty much that person, maybe their partner, maybe their best friend being like, "Oh, it'd be so fun if we had this fountain thing or something." But this is not a life or death I mean, it's not quite the once in a lifetime
Can be
situation.
life or death if we're involved, which we'll talk about that in a
That's
minute when,
true. That's
but
true.
you're exactly right. And I actually had never thought of it that way. Is like when you get married, especially if it's the first time, there's so much, there's so many,
And you
there's so
think it will be the
right, right. And you think it will be the only time. And then you meet, Elizabeth Taylor here. And you, you have all these thoughts. And so you have all this pressure, right? But you're right. As you get older, and then as you've are grinding and have been ground down for a bit, you're just sort of like, oh, hell no. And then it gets to the point where, you have a little bit of disposable income or you have a little bit, and you're not quite so stressed out as you are, when you're younger and you're trying to pay your rent or your mortgage, or you're not as stressed out about putting your kids through school. And if you decide, hey, listen, I mean, I think that's why people have divorce parties. I think that's why they have people who have, you want to have a birthday party. And ironically, like that's not why we're taping the podcast, but you happen to be
Yes,
planning your own party right now.
I
And
know. So, yeah.
what is, so it's freeing, but it's one of those things when you've got kind of a blank canvas. I think that can be intimidating. So how did you decide to do this big milestone birthday? And
Okay, so I'm going to be 50. So we won't talk about your age, but I will say I'm going to be 50, which is so hard to believe because I'm like
we
the
can talk about
youngest
my
of
age
my.
all day long. I look 1,000, except that I'm
No, you
plastered in
do
Botox.
not. You look
Yeah.
1,000. So I'm like my ex was 10 years older than me. I'm the youngest of my family, like only child to my mom, but way younger than my dad's first marriage, his kids. So I was always like the baby. And the last 5 years of my life have been massively different because around 45, I was kind of like, why am I still married to this person?
Ooh,
And
yeah.
I won't go deeply into that, but it was my own awakening of you only have so much time. Some days now. What are we doing? I had not left the country for over 30 years, even though my ex is from England.
What?
Yeah, my passport had expired. We
Oh,
hardly went anywhere, did anything, nothing. Raising kids, very small life. At one point, I wrote this piece about a friend of mine said, "Oh, yeah, you don't really like to travel, right?" And I was like,
are you
"Oh,
kidding me?
wait, oh, wait." Like, liking to travel and getting to travel are two different things. My
Yeah.
mom was a travel agent when I was a
Oh,
kid,
I forgot about that.
raised me to be like, you will go to Paris, you will travel. I went to Spain in high school because she had no money, but she was like, yes, you'll go on this exchange program. And that was the last time I left the country when I was 16 years old
What?
until I went to Bali 2 years ago with my current partner. And
Wow,
that was
Bali's
the first time.
an amazing place.
Yes, I know. So I've had quite the midlife unraveling, shall we say.
Well, haven't we
And
all? I mean,
yeah.
whether you do the unraveling or you are being unraveled, it's that, I mean, I think that's probably, I mean, in the old days, the guys just used to do it, right? They would,
Yes.
get a tan and a
Oh,
Ferrari and a 22-year-old girlfriend, and oh, they're off having a
oh,
midlife
like,
crisis. But I think now, like, women are in it getting to those independent spots, right? Where
yeah.
you're like, okay, I mean, it seems to happen. I don't want to call it a midlife crisis, but it seems to happen at this time because you do have some living under your belt, but you realize, hopefully you have you know, a good number of years left, but you just start going, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like, this is not working.
But we don't know how many years we have left. And
Right.
there's this idea that we're all living to 100, right?
No,
It,
100%
it
not.
must be because, but then you look around, you're like, oh no, no, we're
Mm-mm.
probably not living to 100.
No,
And
right.
so you do not have all of that time left. And Brene Brown calls it a midlife unraveling instead of a
Yeah.
crisis. But yeah, men have been able to have this, whatever it is for them,
Hmm.
forever, but no permission for women to do that.
No.
And I was full on the path to be the martyr mom and just lay down my life for my family. And I was miserable. Like I was a shell of a human and not kind to my kids and not a good partner. It was awful. And
Yeah.
the leaving was so hard and a lot of blowback on me for it. And yet I knew in the process that we would all be better off for it. Because if I'm not a actual human living an actual life, that doesn't benefit my children or my
No.
anybody, myself included primarily.
Yeah.
So it's a weird time. So having this party is crazy because also life is different. It's not like a time where you have like all the same friends, right? It's
Right.
not like oh, I have 3 kids with a 10-year age gap. I've been at a million schools. I have friends from when I lived in Fairfax. I have friends from up here and I live in Petaluma now. But I work constantly. I commute. I'm not here that much. I'm never showing up
Mhm.
at my kids. My youngest is 11. I'm not like volunteering at school anymore.
Right.
So part of me is like, how do you have a party for this eclectic mix? People in LA who I love. I
Yeah.
just heard that 2 friends are coming from Orange County, but I was like, I just invited them to be polite. And they're like, we're coming. And I'm like,
So they didn't hear about it
oh,
on social media? I know, and by the way, I think I'm coming too, so you might wanna call the fire truck because I was like, "Oh, I know this witch thinks I'm not coming, but oh, yeah, I sure am. Mhm.
oh my
Move
God. And
over."
on the
Yeah.
one hand, so I almost didn't have it because I'm like, no one's gonna know each other. Like, and
Oh,
then
well,
in
that's
the end, I'm like,
irrelevant. Those are the best
maybe
parties.
everyone will know one person. That's really what I came down to. And I'm like, if I don't have it, I would probably regret not having it. And I swear this will be the Wowie Zowie part, but I listened to one of your episodes with the whole energy clearing thing. So I was like, I
Yeah.
can talk about Wowie Zowie stuff. So
Mhm.
I think I've always had this vision. I used to think it was like an anniversary party that I would just imagine like that. I mean, I was married for over 25 years and
Jeez Louise.
I know. So it could have been something like that. But I've
Mhm.
had this image of some party that's more of a party, not a wedding or something.
Mhm.
But I don't know that I ever saw that my ex was there. Like, if I really think about it, it
Oh,
was more like
interesting.
centered on me. And I'm like, oh, maybe I saw this happening. And I more and more as I get older, I'm like, the whole time space continuum thing, like it's
Yeah.
all happening or it's all already happened. And
Right.
things we think are deja vu are really like, I don't know, another
Right.
quantum time period. But I feel like I've always known this would happen. And part of my current reality is like when I started dating the person I'm with was like live music, travel, being out, food, like really living life. And the amount of amazing live music, like New Year's Eve 2 years ago, I was in the Bill Graham Auditorium, the biggest disco ball you've ever seen with LCD sound systems, which I'd barely even heard of, but my partner loves. And it was so incredible. Like to feel that music live,
Yeah.
to have the disco ball, to have the confetti, the whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, I want music and dancing and celebration. And there's this awesome DJ who is a dad at my youngest school. And I've been to some of his events and I'm like, that would be so perfect. So here I am, renting a venue, having a DJ. Oh, but here's the kicker. It's a historic building
Oh, boy.
in downtown Petaluma. You cannot even tape things to the
I
wall.
knew you were gonna say that.
It
That's
says
the
you can't even have helium balloons. I'm like, why can't you have a helium balloon? What's going to happen? Like,
Oh,
it's going
that's
to,
a big thing. Have you not gotten that memo? Oh, helium
what is it
balloons
going to
are, like,
explode?
horrendous. They fly off, and they're killing birds, I think, and taking planes
Well, I
down,
know that, but I mean, like, inside,
but they're gonna escape,
interior.
right? I mean, they have to plan
Oh,
for the balloon to
God.
escape and your drunk friends to, like, let them loose.
Well, I almost wouldn't have it too because it's like, this is a lot of money. Events are a lot of money. I'm like, I could do so many other things with that. And so
Mhm.
my practical brain is like, no. But then, like, it could be fun. And then how do we even do anything if I cannot hang anything?
Well,
And I'm the one
you send
doing
me that
events usually.
contract, and I put it into ChatGPT, and I tell ChatGPT, "What are all the ways around this contract that won't violate it?" And then
Oh,
yours truly
okay.
will come up with a blockbuster for you. No
And then I'm
problem.
on Pinterest, like with all the things, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's too hard. So for my own thing, I'm like, I know how much work goes into this, and I'm almost gonna have an event with like no decor, basically,
No,
is what's
sure you
gonna
are. You
happen.
just send it over to me. We're gonna have, we got a mic stand right here. Well, I'm sure you can put things on the floor because that's where people are gonna have to walk. We'll just do portable centerpieces with no helium and
Okay. So
organically
here's
grown
the plan.
roses.
You are going to do the reverse of what we did in San Francisco once. You are going to rent a U-Haul. You're going to load it up and you're going to drive here to my party.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. 100% no problem. I mean, and by the way, I would do it. Because I'm never gonna let you live. I'm never gonna live it down that I made you forced to do this podcast. So yeah, I'll rent the
No,
U-Haul.
this is
I
the
just bought a
best. Oh my
pickup
God.
truck, so
Did
I
you?
can just
Oh my
load that
gosh.
up. You know,
There's a noise ordinance in the
oh,
entire city where I live,
is there
but
not
it
any
has
other
to,
venues in the entire city
well,
where you live? I mean,
there
okay, go
are,
on.
but the noise ordinance is the whole city, right? And it's better for 90% of the people coming to be local, right? To not have to drive to like the city or somewhere else. So here we are. It has to under 10. Music has to be over at 10,
Well,
which is
then
crazy.
you do the
It,
silent DJ thing,
yeah.
which you give everybody the headphones and some magic mushrooms, and they're going to rock to the mushrooms with the headphones. You're not going to give two hoots if you have a balloon. They'll be seeing them in their brain. They're going to have the best DJ experience of their
Oh my
lives,
gosh,
right?
that
Just
is
bring
so funny.
yoga mats. Are those allowed
Yeah,
on your thing? Have a yoga
probably.
mat and everybody rocking
Probably.
out.
But here's the other thing. Have you not read about the like this whole disco trend, this whole trend of like the Gen X go dance during the day thing? Nobody wants to stay up late. I am still a night owl. You never have been,
I
right?
have
But
no.
people want this to be over at like 10, right? Start at 5,
Well,
over
that's
at
my
10.
dream. I mean, my dream is a noise ordinance that kicks in at 8:45. But I do realize that the rest of
So
the world does not want that. Right.
I know, but so here's the thing. That's what my party has to be. And it's in November. So it's okay. It gets dark at like 4:30. Who cares? It starts at 5. It has to be music. It has to be done at 10. We have to be out by 11. But I don't know. It's so not me. I would be up all night if I could. I'd be in a barn with no noise ordinance and a disco ball hanging from the ceiling and lots of things hanging from everywhere. But here we are.
Well, then what you can do is you can just move that party to
Yes.
like you tell everybody, "Hey, take your drunk selves via Uber, go to XYZ place that's the hotel, bar, whatever." And
Well, there's a
everybody
bar
just
downtown
continues.
Petaluma because we're in like a cow town up here with like deer heads on the wall. You would love it, but they're like real deer heads,
Yeah,
like
I
hunting bar. Yeah.
100% I love that. And they have to close at 10 too?
No, no, no. That's a bar. They can stay. They don't
Okay,
have
well,
music. It's just
then
open
you
till
move
2.
everybody to the bar afterwards. I mean, I'll be in
Yes,
bed,
yes.
but everybody else can stay up past 10 can be there for the
The other
second
thing
round.
I thought about this as I was thinking about talking to you. I was like, I think maybe you're the one who taught me to like work from bed. You're like, can we just go to my house and I'll just be in bed and then you take notes? Because I'm going to be in bed at like 7. That's
Every
what you would do.
every everybody still makes fun of me. Still to this day, everything happens in bed, and I'm not trying to be crass. I'm saying like I don't. I mean, and I saw something where it was like, oh, like how when you're in college and you learn to work on your bed and I think I had such bad ADHD, but it was undiagnosed. And I think I learned to work on my bed when I was in third grade because it was like a
Yeah.
big spread out space. I could have my
Yes, me
papers. That's
too.
probably why, right? And then
I
I
used to work
never,
on the floor and now I work on I'm always with my laptop in bed.
yeah, channeling me. It's nice. I mean, I now have this sort of like dust cover blanket situation because we have dogs and everything else. So I just have that. So then
Yeah.
when I eat my breakfast and my coffee and all that and the pencil shavings, because yeah, I still use pencils that I like to have sharp.
Here's the big question. Do you still use a planner, a paper planner?
100% I do I use it. Everything I handwrite all my stuff. I have to have oh god, yeah. I'm like looking right now at my what do you call it? My chalkboard walls where I still write
Yes.
everything. Yeah, not much
Do you
has
know
changed,
that to
Camille.
this very day I have Franklin Covey, like a little one,
Oh,
not the big one. This very day, always have those because of you.
well, and you have the
And I
best
have told other
handwriting.
people, and nobody listens to me. Nobody listens
No,
to me. That
there
is
well
the
there
best thing in the world. It's the
it
best thing
is.
in the world.
It
I've
is.
used it every day of my life since the moment that you made me get one.
Thank you. It calms you down. It, like,
Yes.
imprints what you're
Mhm.
supposed to it's totally
On your
different writing
brain.
things down, right?
I know.
Than,
Yes.
like than typing things. Now, you speaking of writing things down, there was, like, what I remember years ago, I don't know if I ever told you this. There was this magazine that I picked up and, like, you were featured in it. I don't know, was it for writing or journaling?
Oh, I think it was Uppercase. It's like the most
Yes, it was
amazing magazine
Uppercase,
ever. Yeah,
which
she's
I
amazing.
is Uppercase still around?
Yeah, she's in Canada. She runs it all herself. I mean, I don't have a current subscription, so I can't say to this moment in time, but
Yeah.
she's gotten it big enough, as far as I know, that like her and her husband both work on it. It's incredible. And it is a
I
total labor of love. And the first issue I ever found, I think I have to give Nicholas credit for this. He picked it up in a little shop in South Pasadena on one little creative trip we had long, long time ago.
if you're creative, or even if you're not creative, you just wanna be creative or surrounded by creative things, that magazine, I mean, it feels like a I don't wanna say it
It's
feels
like,
like
yeah,
a
it feels
book,
good.
it feels
Yeah.
so good, and I remember opening it up and seeing this whole, like, article about Camille Esposito, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh," and
Well, it's very reader participatory, so you can send her anything, which is amazing. I also love that it's so democratic. But I think it might have been because I worked on the book for like a memory book of my childhood, because I lost my mom in my 20s. And when I had kids, I had more grief actually after I had my kids, which was interesting.
why?
Because she would never need them
Oh,
or
because
never
she
know
yeah.
them. Well, because I mean, so I'm currently writing a longer thing for my senior project because I'm in school too.
What's your senior project? Like, what do you have to how long does it have to be?
Well, if anything, I'm gonna make it longer than it has to be. But I worked on this book quite a while ago now in the pandemic that was more of a memory book of like the things my mom would have told my kids if we were just all hanging out. You know,
Oh,
like that
wow.
I had a goat in my front yard, that there we had a chicken that lived in our kitchen named
Right.
Amy. And it started from a creative project with Lila Rogers online, who totally reminds me of you. She teaches art and she's an art agent, or she was for a long time. But anyway, these all overlap. Uppercase, Lila Rogers, and she had this assignment, like do like a letter, like illuminate a letter, kind of like a golden book, like pick
Oh,
a letter of the alphabet and then do a little story with it.
oh.
So I did A, and I thought of this chicken that used to live in our kitchen, and just in like the corner in the window made a little nest. And then I thought, wait, I have all these stories like that because my mom created this whole magical childhood for like the first 5 years of my life, very magical, very much in reaction to her kind of boring Sacramento post-war childhood
Mhm.
and all these sweet things that she did. And I wanted to tell my kids about them without it being like I'm always talking about the same things. It would just be me. Like if their
Right.
grandma had told them, it would be way more interesting, right?
Right. Right.
So I did it as a gift to my kids, and I went A to Z with a memory and a letter for each one.
Wow.
And I sent
Okay.
some of that to Uppercase,
And
and she featured it, which was so sweet. And then
mm,
I
mhm.
self-published it with
Mhm.
Blair Books, and I did a Kickstarter because people wanted it. And so I could make the books like $30 as long as I did it. Like I ordered enough. So I did
Yeah.
a Kickstarter, like you could order it, pre-order it. But that was really cathartic in certain ways to kind of have these memories to be more tangible. But it was like the sunnier, happier part. And now
Mm.
I'm kind of writing about that.
Now it's the
I mean, not
dark A to Z.
well, no, it's like
A is
my
for
growth
anxiety,
pattern. No, more
alcoholism.
like
I'm just kidding.
yes, exactly. Well, kind of. So more about how. So my mom was an alcoholic, and
Oh,
I think
sorry. I wasn't trying to, like, I
I know
didn't
it's fine.
yeah.
It's all good. But I feel like our generation growing up, we it was more like alcoholism is genetic, right? So you're kind
Mm.
of screwed. Like, it's a roulette wheel. And as I had three kids, I'm like, okay, so one of them's
Yeah.
just gonna get this. Like we have no
Yeah.
power
Get
over
this.
it.
Good way to put it.
But then I feel like more talk has been made, or we've heard more now that more likely addiction and trauma go hand in hand.
Hmm.
And because trauma gets passed down generationally, it can look genetic, even though it isn't always genetic. Not that we're not predisposed a little bit, but
Sure.
more likely it's trauma getting passed down. So, anyway, so I'm writing more about how my like what are the things I learned about my grandmother, my great grandmother, and things that were passed to my mom, and she kind of healed some of them, but obviously not all because she died when she was 53, as a kind of a complication from alcoholism. So, and then questioning like my own path and how I started to kind of go down this path of like resentment and anger and that I didn't have control over my own life.
Right.
And then taking that, not control, but like stepping into my life more and realizing that I can.
So how much do you like draw and sketch these days?
Not a ton, but if I do, it's on my iPad with my Apple Pencil, which has
Really?
been so amazing. Yes, for all my love of
I was
paper
gonna
and
say
everything.
that talk about a sellout. You are the last person. I would have thought you would have gotten
Oh,
Botox before you would have switched to the Apple Pencil.
but have you ever used an Apple Pencil?
Of course not,
It is
because I'm like
fucking
channeling you.
magic. It is magic. It is so incredible. It's like having an entire art supply store in this one little white pencil. Like all the colors, all the textures, all the things. And I do a lot of collage work. So I'll take a
Mhm.
picture of something like old paper and then you can layer the things and draw with them. So I don't even know how. Oh, I think in the class I was taking, I kept seeing people's style that I loved, and I was like, "What is this? What are they using?" And finally, I was like, "Oh, an Apple Pencil."
Are you gonna
So,
like
but
start selling
now,
EFTs later or what? I mean, is that your
what
new thing?
what is EFT? I don't
The
know.
EFT is basically like a way that like artists can sell their digital, work,
Oh,
and it's kind of like all in the category of Bitcoin and all this like ethereal
that.
stuff
Yeah, no,
that's
I've
out of
heard
there.
about
But
that. That's what I've had a hard time with is like, how do you make it tangible? Sometimes I print it and mount it on a wooden canvas,
mhm.
but it's usually pretty small. You can't print giant. I mean, maybe I'll learn how to print giant, but I just bought giant canvases again, so I might paint
Oh,
more. I don't know. So yeah,
well, maybe
and
you
my
could like
garage is all set up creatively because
maybe
I
you could
also
just
bought my own house, you know, like 2 years ago.
no,
So
I mean maybe I knew that, but
yeah,
wow. So does your garage have a car or no? It's just set up like a studio.
no car. It's yeah, it's kind of a small garage, and I have kind of a small car now. I don't know how I would even fit my car in there, but I always was like, no, it's going to be adventure things like stored in one part, like
Yeah.
paddleboard, camping stuff,
Yeah.
scale surfboards, then workout zone,
Yeah.
and then creative area. So yeah, no car. Cars can
I
live
love it.
outside.
So let's talk about some epic almost party fails that you and I have worked on together. We have one favorite. I mean, she was an amazing client, and I swear to you, I want to find out where this girl is because she was so cool. And you're going to tell the
Oh,
story better than I did, so better than I will. So set it up for us about why we had this party because it goes back to what we were talking about before about having parties for yourself.
yeah. I don't even remember how you met her, but I
I
mean,
think
but
she found me
basically,
online.
okay. So, I mean, the backstory from what we know is she was turning 40. We think was going to get married at some point in her late
Mhm.
30s, didn't. Her mom had enough that she would have paid for the wedding, lived in Palm Desert, and said to her when she was turning 40, I will give you all what I would have given you for a wedding to have a party. And so she did. And then she found you. And then we got to do it. And we literally, I don't know what day we were sitting there and we're like, we should have live birds in
Oh, right.
cages.
Yeah.
Like that's what we should do. Like actual live animals in a tent. And so then here's the kicker. The tent is connected to the house, right? Which will become relevant soon. So tenting off the house, middle of the desert, I think like winter time. So like
Yeah.
clear
Oh, yeah.
sidewalls,
Mhm.
heaters. And I don't know, so the theme ended up being like Mexican flowers. I don't know what the theme was. I
No,
mean, we
the
had
theme
live
was
birds in cages.
Latin, very specific that it was not just Mexican, because remember, she had traveled and done documentaries and stuff in Latin America,
See, I don't
and so
remember
she
this. So
wanted
you
that
remember.
represented, and so it was very much like, this is not just like not that there's anything wrong with that, but it could not just be Mexican, it had to be very
Mm,
inclusive of all that, and I've
okay.
traveled a lot, and I was like, "Well, all these places have these beautiful birds. So let's have like be hanging from the ceiling these giant fake birds and real birds and before PETA sends me anything at that time and probably still these days, animals are treated better than people. I mean, I don't know how many handlers those birds had, but
I don't even know
they're
how we got the birds. I have no memory of like the bird handler, but I
that probably
know
that
that we
that was
had
the
like
easiest part of the whole party. Probably was that bird
maybe.
handler, and then we had these parakeets or something. Remember? And then one got loose, and we had to
Oh,
chase
in
it
the
with
tent.
the we had to chase it with the the pool net.
Oh, yeah. I really think what happened is you were just really into bird cages. And this is before there was
Those,
like a big
yeah,
bird cage trend.
right. I was, yeah.
And then you thought we must also have live birds. Like we couldn't just have the bird cages empty,
No, no.
right?
Why have bird
And
cages? Yeah,
then we both loved Mexican flowers and we're like, well,
yep,
that can go very many directions. It doesn't have to be like heavily Mexican. And then I
right.
know we had big urns of some sort with like a cocktail tabletop or they were
Oh,
baskets
right. That was
because
very
that
cool.
was
Right.
also important.
Yep.
And because, and then we had all, so we started to realize through probably through the event company now, I'm realizing like the tent company, because
Yeah.
now I still do events and I still have to pass fire code for
Yes.
tents. It's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So they
Yes,
start
and
to
it always
kind of
will
let
be.
on that this fire inspector, you're in the desert and the tent is connected to the house. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to have all the fabric treated. So we
Mm-hmm.
had to find someone to treat fur that you
Oh, yeah.
wanted that was all flammable.
The high pile
So
fur was the key to
disgusting.
this
High
party. Yeah.
pile fur. So disgusting to have that covered in flame retardant. But we do that. But we also have the Mexican flowers and the birds. And the fire inspector is coming. And I don't know who clued us in, but they're like, you have to hide all the Mexican flowers because they're paper.
Oh,
So we
right. Now,
take them
mind you,
all down.
the house was like 100% cement and stucco. There wasn't, I mean, it was all sand all around it. I mean,
And we were literally in a desert. Like you could see
wait,
the desert. It wasn't just like Palm Springs.
no,
You're
there was
like, oh
nothing
no,
that could
there's
burn.
sand.
Yeah. Anyway, but keep going. Yeah.
So we put all of the paper flowers in the urns and hide them from the fire inspector. We have the flame retardant. We have the proof that it's flame retardant,
Yeah.
the fabric, all of that. And we
Hmm.
pass, which was amazing. So we're all on pins and nails. We pass. Then the party proceeds. We get all the paper flowers out again. We have this giant cake that
Yeah.
is fondant. It weighs like 100 pounds. It's on a
The
big
client
board.
was very cool, but she wanted
Yeah.
specific things. And remember, like wedding cakes are fondant and all this other stuff. And so the cake weighed, tons, but I didn't care because I was
Yeah.
going to make you carry it.
Yeah, I was about to say, so I don't know whose idea it was to carry it, me to carry it, probably yours. And
Hmm.
then Riley wants to put on paper flowers on the cake. And she had sparklers, real magnesium based
100%.
sparklers at her wedding and birthday parties and
Yeah.
loved them. And
Love
I don't even know
sparklers.
where you can't get them anymore. I don't know
No.
where we can get them. They're
I probably went
amazing.
to Mexico to get them. They were
But you
important. They
got
were
some illegal sparklers.
important
So you
part.
put you put them on the
Yes, I did.
cake. And I am walking through the tent. Thank God, like our
Hmm.
caterer was with me who was stronger. But I'm walking through the tent. The magnesium is flying off the sparklers. And when
Oh,
magnesium
right.
flies off, it keeps burning
Forgot about that.
onto the paper flowers. And the
Right.
cake catches fire
Yeah. That was
while
not
I'm
good.
carrying it
Not the
through the
best.
tent.
Yeah.
We
Not the best.
figured it
Thank God
out.
the client
But
was buzzed at that point.
yes,
She was
but the
buzzed and the photos were
irony
good. Yeah.
I know, but the irony that we've never gotten close to a fire. At that
No,
particular time,
no.
we did.
Yeah, we were on fire in more ways than one. Yeah,
And I
because
think like the caterer somehow he was like got towels and we did it all low pro. No one else knew how bad it was except for us, but it was so
it was bad.
it
Well,
was
because sparklers actually sparkle. Yeah. And now that was a
continue to
good
burn.
lesson. No, on so many levels. And after we kept hearing this fire marshal, that whichever fire marshal it was, is that's as bad as the one in Malibu. And like Malibu was known to be like the worst fire marshal, like super strict. And here we are with everything concrete and then our high pile, goopy, fur treated. And then we I
We may
blow
have
it and light
actually
the
lit that thing
sparklers.
on fire if we'd not had better support.
I
But it
mean,
was yeah.
all that was missing from that thing was a fire extinguisher. I mean, but fortunately, we even had the pool net to catch the wayward parakeet.
We also couldn't ruin the cake. Like you're
I
not
Yeah,
gonna like do the fire extinguisher on the, like this
yeah,
moment, this like
I
crescendo of the evening. But
yeah.
I loved that it was her 40th birthday. She was so joyous. It probably was a crazy collection of people,
Yep.
right? Same thing. And you got some people from college, some people from work, some people from traveling, but she just did it to purely celebrate like her life. And
Yep.
why should we not do these things? Why are only in general the acceptable things to do are like baby showers and weddings and like things that we're doing the patriarchal perfectness, but
Right.
not just like I've had a fucking amazing life. I don't know if I can swear on this, but
Yeah, you
just an
evidently can. Yeah, no, I'm just
amazing
kidding.
amazing life. And like to celebrate that is so beautiful. And I love that we had the chance to do that multiple in different ways, multiple
Yeah, many
times for
different ways.
people.
And you're right. I think that's a great message for this whole thing is you don't have to wait until you get married, or you don't have to wait until it's a baby shower or something that's about like what other people want for you or what society says now is the time to celebrate. You can celebrate when you
Yeah.
want to celebrate, and there's so many ways to do it. And I think one of the biggest questions I get asked too is about like the guest list and stuff and how important is that and all that. And part of my thing is it's better when there are eclectic people involved. It really
Mhm.
is. People make friends. You never know what somebody's background is gonna be like because we only know people, we know them from school or we know them from this and that. We don't know that, oh, their father was this or that, and that they're gonna connect to somebody that's,
Mm.
70 years old at the party. You just don't know. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the good tips to having a great party is when you do have this really eclectic group
Yeah.
of people there. So in
Well,
other
we'll
words, you're gonna
see.
have a good one. Yeah, we'll see. And then we'll do the podcast after Camille's uh
The post
party.
mortem. But the worst thing is like you invite not the worst thing. The
Yeah.
hard thing is that you invite all these incredible people. Often they're making all the great connections, and then you're like it's gone in a flash.
Oh,
You
you don't
realize
remember a
that you
damn
had
thing.
all
You're
these
just tired.
incredible people
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you really appreciate and,
Well, you appreciate the
enjoy that?
planning.
So
You talk
yeah,
about it on a
maybe.
podcast.
Yeah,
Maybe we could
maybe.
tape a podcast at 10:01 so that I
Maybe
could
you have
say, "Talk to me."
multiple events. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I just went to a wedding in Arcata, way Northern California, for my partner's friends who are divers.
Yeah.
They got married by the water. It was so sweet, very small. They're then going to get married again underwater. You will love this.
Oh, okay.
In Mexico, in a cenote in December.
Oh, well, there you go. God bless them and the
So
photos.
you just
That's
keep
good. I hope they
going.
got
You
a
just
lot of
keep having
insurance.
events. Yeah.
Well, that's why I believe in the hangover brunch. The next day, whether it's a birthday party or
Mhm.
whatever, you have the
Yeah.
hamburger truck, and that's where the good stories show up.
And that actually is what I learned from doing events is to not just do the one thing. That's
Yeah.
why a wedding weekend or a
Mhm.
party weekend is the reason because you have people who came
Yeah.
further and you aren't going to see on Wednesday at
Yeah.
school drop off or whatever,
Yeah.
and that you want to have brunch and hang out, or the night before, like the
Yeah.
hilarious night before where you're making the paper flowers or
Right. Right.
doing the thing. So I think that might be some of the best advice too is like try to extend it if you
Yes.
can and not just be a freaking stress case and be like,
Yeah.
it's going to be what it's going to be. I may have no decorations, whatever,
Right.
there's some alcohol and some music and all these amazing people. That's the main part. Like people and
Yes.
the experience are the main thing. And the rest, people stress about decor and you're like, really in the end, it didn't matter that much.
Oh, as long
It's
as
fun,
listen,
but it
as long
doesn't
as you can
matter
have
that much.
lighting, you're in great shape. I mean, lighting makes the
Lighting,
whole keep
exactly.
it
Yes.
dim and then have that colorful lighting so that not everybody has to have as much Botox as I've had. And then the other thing is I've done the hangover brunches where, it's say it's the next day, kind of at like 11, you have the hamburger truck or something. But what's been fun for me with that is that sometimes even like local people who can't go to the party the night before because they're busy or they have a double commitment.
Mm.
What's fun is they can still be at the brunch or whatever the
Oh,
next day.
that's really
That's
sweet.
and it doesn't have to be some giant elaborate fancy thing. It can also be just, meeting at wherever
Yeah, yeah,
afterwards,
totally.
which I think is a
Yeah,
great idea, kind of for the recap.
that's a
So there you
very
go.
good point. Or the people who go to bed super early
Oops. Perfect. I'd be happy to set up the whole blasted thing the next morning because Lord knows I'll be up
versus
at
the
6. But
versus
yeah,
the stay up all night where I'm like, sleep when you're dead. Let's just stay up all night. Best memories of Spain are like, let's just not go to bed
yeah.
until the
And I'm
next
like,
day.
well, I would be dead. So there you go. That would accelerate the process. There'd be no 100 years old for me if I'm not in bed at 10:15. Well, Camille, any other great advice, or how can people find you? Or if you're not going to say it, I will tell them how they can find you.
I don't know if they need to find me, but
They
you're
get
allowed to
why
say it if
they
you want
listen.
to. We'll
If
see.
they
We'll
want to
see.
find you, it's CamilleEsposito.com, but it's CAMILLE and then SPOSITO. So that it's not like
Yeah.
Camille and then the other one. So
Yeah.
they can find you that way. Maybe they can even reach out and be friends, and you'll share your private Instagram, because I understand that's even locked up.
Well, the Instagram, you can just say, "Do you want to follow?" It was public forever, but you get the creepy
Yeah,
people. I don't like that. So
I do. By the way, I do.
anyway,
Anybody
oh
that's
yeah,
willing to hit on me at this age, I was the exact opposite of the Me
whether
Too
they're like
moment.
a Russian chatbot or not,
Not a
it's all gay.
absolutely. I was part of the me please moment, where I said, "Absolutely. I am, if you
Oh
want a
my
cat
god.
call, if you wanna, I am totally available." So,
Well, someday we might need the podcast of the, midlife dating app
no
coursing,
wor
but that's on like secret lockdown mode podcast.
yes, okay, well, we can also do that. That could be a bonus for our listeners, right, who follow
Mhm.
you at CamilleEsposito.com. Well, this
Oh
was,
my goodness. You are
this was
the
an
best. Oh
this
my
was an
god.
absolute pleasure. I mean, it went nearly an hour for the girl who didn't wanna be on here at all.
Mm.
So,
Well, you're
mm,
as amazing as always, and we could talk for days, so
we could talk,
it's not
maybe,
shocking.
yeah, maybe I'll just come the Wednesday before the party and help you with those
Yeah.
flowers in my pickup truck, and
Oh my gosh. Well,
right?
Christina is coming up
Oh,
from
yay.
Orange County. Yes, she's
How many
coming.
kids does Christina have now?
Only two,
Wow,
and they're
okay,
both
well,
in college. And the
wow.
sweetest thing is that her younger daughter Claire and Darla, they're a little apart in school, but they literally are good friends, like by choice.
Oh, I
It's the
love that.
sweetest thing in the world. So yeah.
That's magic. All right, well, tell Christina I'm coming
Yes.
for her. Okay,
Okay.
I love it.
Well, okay. Oh my God. Do you remember when
CamilleEsposito.com. Hmm?
wait, before we say about Christina made a costume out of a piñata once like a pineapple
Oh, right.
piñata. She made a Halloween costume out of it.
Right.
So,
That's
yes.
we're very creative at the Party Goddess. Okay, so you can find Camille at CamilleEsposito.com. You can find me at the Party Goddess on Instagram. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and tell a friend, because that's how all this magic is going to get distributed in the world. So, Camille, thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
everybody, I will talk to you next week. Ciao for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.
Bye.